everyone, welcome for this new episode of Embers Adrift weekly community show. Welcome. If you are on YouTube, hi guys. Do not forget to check out the live the Friday at 4 p.m. Central Europe time or 9 a.m. CDT, which is Austin time. So welcome everyone. Today it's a new episode of Embers Adrift. We speak every week about the news, the patch notes, different topics of discussion, and I've prepared a little program for you today. So friends, today we are going to speak about the patch notes and more importantly the update for Unity 2021, which unfortunately didn't work as we wanted. So I'm going to discuss about all of that in a moment, but the rest of the program, which I have written in my little notebook here, two very nice discussions that are spread in different threads. So I'm not going to pull off a thread specifically for that, but the discussion about the equipment and a discussion about the darkness in game. And so that's two topics I would like to discuss with you, and I would like your opinion about it. Everyone here in the stream and everyone on YouTube, write down your comments. I will also put the links below to discussion that I have opened. They are not ready yet at the moment where I'm speaking, but they should be ready if you're watching the video on YouTube. So check out the information. I always put all the relevant link down below. We're going to speak about the World Breaker event, of course, that happened last week. What happened? Did we break anything, etc., etc. And then I have something fun to show you as well from Twitter. So this week we're waiting with impatience about this new update, because finally, after many months of wait, Undone could update the client and port it from Unity 2019 to the Unity 2021. We had such high hope for this change, including a new skybox that's coming soon, and that will solve different topics of discussion that we have right now and that we will speak a little bit later. But unfortunately, things didn't happen as we were hoping for. So what's news? This week we are finally able to bring you a Unity 2021 build. Most of the kink had been ironed out and things seems be relatively stable from what I can tell. However, I need your help this week in determining if we move forward with Unity 2021, because once we make the switch we cannot turn back. So what I need from everyone is feedback on how their performance and stability feels compared to previous build. This week we are also making some crafting adjustments to help widen the gap between crafted and dropped gear. One thing I will ask the community to focus on, especially on Wednesday night, is getting back to providing direct feedback on patch notes line items. Feedback as of late has been a bit more general and not focused on recent change. I'm not asking you to stop providing that feedback. I'm just asking for a teeny bit more from you in the form of feedback on individual line items. We implement small change and sometimes get no feedback on those, which give us the impression that everything is fine when maybe it isn't. So, feedback, focus question this week in addition of the other misc item, line item. So, that's very important if you have the occasion to test the game this weekend and to give feedback about those questions. Please go in that thread specifically and give some feedback about those items. So, how is performance and stability compared to previous builds? Are you receiving weapon drops appropriate for the content you are doing? Do the new weapons help smooth the power transition? Do the weapon upgrade still feel impactful? Is it clear that basic crafted gear is inferior to dropped gear? And does the imbued gear feel worthwhile to pursue? So we have different, of course, like usual, bugs, fixes, and improvements. If you want to know more about them specifically, please read the patch notes themselves or watch the video provided by Alice Blue, where she is reading herself all those notes in details. However, there is some important things that was worth to be mentioned here. The first one I want to mention is this one. From discussion on Discord, it's been discovered many don't use provoke, making it more utility than we originally planned. To make provoke more core to the role of the threat from threatening strike is being shifted to provoke, along with reducing provoke's cooldown. We hope this will make it easier for tanks to manage threat without being in direct melee range on CC target and allow for off-tank to deal damage with threatening strike without generating too much aggro from the main tank. Threat generation on provoke increased, provoke cooldown decreased to 10 seconds, and threat generation on threatening strike decreased. So that's also something for all the tank out there. Please give your feedback, especially if you had the occasion to test tank previously. It's going to be very interesting. We already have received some feedback in this thread that kind of seems to say that it's been maybe a little bit too generous. So very, very interesting feedback to give if you are a defender. You threw so much P at the enemies. Yeah, because the region for provoke is urine. What is indeed more irritating to receive in your face some urine, especially beer urine. Of course, you're going to pay attention to the bastard that sent you that in your face. So the best way to taunt someone. Okay, the new stuff. So that's going to be quite interesting because the Unity change is both positive and negative. So this week build is using the latest version of Unity 2021.3.1f1. This build brings a large number of updates to internal package and the rendering pipeline itself. The first test is to establish a performance baseline. Besides the changes listed in the patch notes, most everything has remained the same, meaning we are not yet fully taking advantage of what Unity 2021 has to offer. What I need from everyone is a report on how the performance and stability compares with previous builds. Some notable update and or issue you may encounter. Road sign text has returned. Memory exception and crashes should be less frequent. Many internal packages have been updated, so hopefully many of the bugs we found in previous builds are gone. Rendering pipeline bug fixes. The black screen bug caused by reflection should be fixed. Dense fog region may appear differently because the new rendering pipeline handled 3D noise a bit differently. Updated vegetation, terrain and object shaders, etc. and some Mac, etc. that has been reverted because from undone testing to date seem I thought shadow casting point light touching vegetation rendered with instanced indirect is the culprit for the massive performance issue. New builds are being pushed that disabled instanced indirect to avoid this and hopefully making things a bit more normal. And we had many reasons to hope for. It was supposed to solve a lot of performance in the game, but also allow us to add different shaders and different graphics improvements, and mostly this new skybox. The new skybox that will have a repercussion on the gameplay. So it is a very important feature for us, this new skybox. It's not just something graphic that will improve the aesthetic of the game. It's something that we need so we can offer a way of directing yourself using the map and the sky that will give you a sense of direction in the world. and that's a feature we want to test intensively with the player and give feedback on. So all the discussion that has happened on the forum and on Discord related to a compass need to stop, because until we do have this star sky, this new skybox with celestial elements in the sky that will help players to direct themselves using the map and the sky together, we don't want to discuss about compass. So that's something to repeat a lot, because players keep coming up with the compass discussion. No, there shall be no compass, not until we try this way of directing yourself in the game. A new feature, very interesting and important, we also need your feedback on: away from keyboard change. Some have expressed concern that players are able to stay logged into the server after the login server is locked. The solution to this problem were to either kick everyone as soon as the server locks, or add a AFK kick. We are electing to go with the second option. Due to the wide range of player time zone, we don't feel that turning the server off at precisely midnight does us any favor with the community. If you are having a good time and would like to play for a few additional hours, we honestly do not mind and want to allow for that type of flexibility. AFKing around the Ember Ring for days at a time, however, is not something we want to encourage. There are now two types of AFK. One, player set AFK via the social window, and two, auto AFK. Your character is automatically flagged as auto AFK if you're away from your keyboard for 5 minutes. When you have been marked as auto AFK for 15 minutes, the server will boot you. 20 minutes AFK total for a boot. Regardless of which AFK you are marked as, manual AFK or auto AFK, your nameplate will update to show AFK. Note that manually marking yourself as AFK does not impact auto AFK in any way. It's a separate system. So, a little bit of explanation regarding this. Before that change has been implemented, player could stay in the game. That's what I was telling you as a secret. If you want to play more, you just leave your character, you don't log off. And then you will stay as long as you don't log off, or as long as Undone has not been kicking off everyone for a reason or another, which can happen. Meaning that some people were continuing to level very efficiently and creating a big gap between the tester that were just testing during the testing time and those little sneaky person that were continuing to play when the server were supposed to be off and when you could not go back to. So there was discussion among the community. Some people were not happy about that. Some people were saying that this was harming the playing together feels of the testing session, etc., etc. But at the same time, like Undone has precise in this thread, we don't really want to be super strict and kick everyone out if you're enjoying yourself. The server are supposed to be off, but you're still busy with your group. It feels a little bit rude and not very nice for us to just kick everyone out. So the AFKing is the best solution because at some point people are going to sleep, and so at some point they are going to be kicked out naturally, and so you will not have people sticking to the server during 3 days and leveling up by themselves and keeping this very, very big gap between the testers and the other people. So AFKing a system to kick out players is also something implemented in almost every game. The only games that still allow people to stay AFK are Black Desert and Arcade, which are two very specific games. They are sandbox Asian game. Is Embers Adrift going to be a subscription on release or buy to play? So it is a subscription-based game. The price is aimed to be $15 per month, which is roughly €13 per month. But at launch, we will have a little discount for the first month. So there will be no modding. The realistic graphics are already in, but there will be no modding in it. Hello, I said coffee. Hi, how are you doing? Good day to you. Well, modding is allowing players to modify things, and it can be dangerous. So when you are a solo RPG, you know, it's not a problem. You can allow players to mod, you can encourage them, because it's your personal experience and you can go wild and do exactly what you want with the game, like Skyrim. But when it is a MMORPG, as there's other players involved in it, you need to be sure that it stays fair. So you can only give access to players to a certain type of information. That's what a game like World of Warcraft does. It allows players to mod certain aspect of the game, but some other are really guarded and the players cannot have access to it. But it's still dangerous because you never know what the community is going to come up with whatever you give them access to. So it's something more dangerous. It's safer to just say no to any mods, and so everyone will have exactly the same experience, and so you cannot really argue about this is fair, this is not fair, oh, I need this, I don't need it, etc. That's a big subject of discussion that you can have in communities like World of Warcraft or Elder Scrolls Online, etc. And so here we're simplifying, like Final Fantasy XIV, they don't allow mods. You cannot mod it. It's not allowed. Well, you can, but it's illegal and you can be banned for it. It's the same thing. Lord Knox, hi. But if there isn't cash shop, how will I get a cat mount? I'm so sorry, Lord Knox, but I'm having to tell you that there will be no mount at the release of the game anyway. So we're not going to sell you one when you cannot utilize it in the game. Hello, Xindred, hi, good day to you. All right. Going back to the discussion, I will answer question after. Crafting updates. There have been growing concern about how crafted gear stack up to adventuring gear. Crafter want the gear to be better than adventuring gear, and while our adventuring players want drops to be worthwhile upgrades. Satisfying both of those desires has proven to be quite the challenge. We are at the point right now where crafted gear is slightly worse than dropped gear. This leads to both crafter and adventurer coming away a bit disappointed, as adventuring and crafted gear is roughly the same at the end of the day. In other words, if you are decked in crafted gear, drops become an afterthought. The other issue at play is how relatively easy it is to obtain decent crafted gear, which detracts from what we feel is one of the most enjoyable parts of the game, getting new gear via drops. We've been discussing a number of potential improvements to alleviate the aforementioned issue, which we will be introducing in the coming weeks. The first improvement is splitting crafted gear into basic and imbued variants. A new resource called Ember Flux has been introduced into the adventuring loot tables. This resource can be used as an optional component for crafting equipment, which draw out the properties of the material used. The intended order of item power is as follows: basic crafted, drops, imbued crafted, and rare drops. The effectiveness of your current basic crafted gear has been reduced significantly to widen the gap between basic crafted and dropped. New rare crafting resource added to the adventuring loot table called Embers Flux. All equipment recipes have a new optional component for Flux. Without the Flux component, crafted equipment is basic. All current crafted equipment is considered basic and will not have any bonus status. So that's something we wanted to discuss, and I wanted to discuss with you about the crafting and dropped gear equipment. This enters into a vast discussion. We will come back to this in a moment. But right now, the change that has been implemented into the game is that you can now find a resource. It's quite rare. I've seen some people on stream, on Ali's stream, and Feldon's gaming stream the other day, and it take a while to get those Ember Flux. I don't know how much Shaun found any of that, but it is not that easy, and it will make crafting special again and drop special again, because that's the goal. It's to really have crafter being very happy about what they are crafting and to find crafting meaningful. So when you're crafting something, you need to put the effort. It's not just something you're doing and you vendor trash it. So it's very precious. It requires you to work for it, and at the same time it's also to fight this feeling of, okay, I have super nice crafted gear, now I don't care about what I'm looting. Because that really removes one fun aspect of the game, which is to be excited because you find a new weapon or a new piece of armor while adventuring. And if you are crafted gear from feet to the top, it removes that excitement. So Shaun is saying, my healer won't be on much this weekend, I'm bummed. I will be farming a lot of ore, gems, ember, I think. 2 in like 3 hours. Okay, so you find the Ember Flux 2 in 3 hours, so that's pretty rare. You don't do alt, but that's nice because we need you to test the new provoke and give you feedback about it. If it's not too powerful. Some people have said that provoke was too powerful now. Xandred is saying, I think it helps to understand the game as a whole and party members and to find exactly what you like best. Yeah, I think it's important to... It's one of the things that I have realized personally myself last time. Someone very kindly crafted equipment for me, and so I could not tell him no, right? I had to accept, oh, thank you very much. But I knew it would ruin my fun of finding equipment. And this is something that I really like. I like when I go in a dungeon to be excited because I find some new loot. And well, here I'm also testing and I'm a GM, so it doesn't feel exactly the same in a way to have this crafted equipment guarantee that I will always leave to everyone else all the loot they need. But it removes one part of the fun, and so I know about that. So I'm very curious to see how much it will feel nowadays with this change into crafting. And I think it's also important for crafters to have the feeling they are doing something useful. Then when they are crafting an item, first it takes time and effort to do it, but then the person that benefited from that item is really happy and satisfied about it. If you have the feeling that crafting is pointless, it's really annoying and it makes crafting pointless. So another note about the crafting that is not implemented yet, but that is being discussed and that I want to talk to you about. We are working on a tech that will allow each crafting profession to create a temporary augment for individual piece of equipment. The idea here is for all crafting professions to create some sort of consumable leading to a more constant demand. Provisioner already have this going on for them, as player will always need potion, food, etc. Armor and weaponsmiths, however, have no such consumable other than ammo. Some ideas we're currently discussing internally. Weaponsmiths could create sharpening stone that are either plus damage, plus hit, or plus pen. The player could then apply those to their individual weapon, only one augment possible at the time, and then the augment will wear off after X number of successful hits. Armor smiths could create armor padding that will increase some defensive stat, avoid damage resist, etc. of a specific piece of equipment. that augment will last until some threshold of damage was taken by that piece. So this is something we have been discussing on this show a few weeks ago. We have been talking in length about the cool consumable we could add to the game in addition of what's already present. We have been discussing about stuff like a feast you have in World of Warcraft, a piece of food that everyone can take a serving of, and you have that in World of Warcraft and in Guild Wars too. And there was different type of consumable we were thinking of, including the sharpening stone and armor padding. And I think that's always something exciting. I'm very, very much in favor of that change, because I think it makes your crafting always relevant. And even though you may be a armor smith and not really focusing on creating new armor, new pieces of armor, you may be focusing your craft on creating tons consumable, because people will want them and they will always need it if they really want to play at the maximum of their ability. There we go. That's all I wanted to talk about the patch notes. Alright, so the discussion that I wanted to discuss is two discussions that will be probably published on the forum because I've prepared them, but it needs just a little bit of revision before it's published. The first discussion is about crafting and dropped equipment, and I thought it would be nice to discuss about it during this show. So, the problem or the nice fine-tuning of balance to find between crafting items, dropped item, is to make everything exciting for the player. So crafting is exciting, you feel useful, you feel like your effort are worthwhile, you feel like to spend your time gathering materials is not only exciting, but it's also rewarding because you're doing something that people will desire. And if you really want to focus on crafting, it's something that you should be able to do. It's an aspect in video games and in MMORPG very often that players will be disappointed about, feeling that crafting is not meaningful enough for them into this game or that game. So in Embers Adrift we wanted to be sure that crafting was meaningful and people that wanted to invest themselves in crafting could do it and feel satisfied about what they are doing. But at the same time, finding items while you're adventuring, be excited to kill a boss and to find a nice piece of loot dropping, needs to be present regardless of crafting. So there's plenty of solutions that can be toyed about or discussed about how to make sure that crafting is exciting and adventuring and finding items is exciting too. There's also an aspect of the discussion which someone has been brought up in a thread. There's different discussion going on the forum speaking about that subject and plenty more on Discord, and everything is spread all over the place, which is why I wanted to gather the discussion in one central thread so everyone can put their concise opinion regarding those subjects in that thread instead of spreading it all over the place. Well, you can continue to spread it all over the place, but in addition you will have decentralization and make it easier to have a followed discussion and focused discussion about the subject. And so there's this other aspect of it, which is buying on equip, buying on pickup items or not having them. At the moment we don't have buying on equip items, which I personally really enjoy. That it's nice to be able to loot an item and replace your equipment and say, oh Alice, you want my chest, I don't need it anymore. Oh yeah, that's great, it's an upgrade for me. Then you pass it to your friend in your team, or you do that for your alts, which can allow you to not have to put so much effort into your alt if you want to just level up an alt quite fast and not spend hours trying to have equipment for it. A lot of people will come up with a discussion of I've been playing the game once, I want my alt to be able to level up faster, blah, 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 blah. And that's a way where you can help your alts by having your own equipment and giving it away to your alt when you level up. But at the same time, having this flexibility and allowing to offer your equipment to your friends or allowing to offer your equipment to yourself, to your alt, is devaluating items over time. And so some people have come up with this concern and say that the solution for that is bind on equip. But at the same time, bind on equip or bind on pickup can lead to also toxicity in groups and people that become selfish. So it is a much vaster discussion that, you know, there's plenty of interaction and things that are intertwined with this aspect of the game. So Yana is saying this is a very tricky subject. Yes, I think it is. Alice is saying I literally cut almost 10 minutes out of my video of me talking about crafting. But you could do a separated video about you talking about crafting. Because it's an interesting subject and it's quite important. Especially if we want to have it right. Yeah, this patch was a big crafting change. Yeah, and it's already quite recent. You were not in the community, or were you? Maybe. But we just did a big change about crafting not long ago, which resulted in a wipe. So every character got wiped out so we can try the new crafting system. And as soon as we implemented this new crafting system, there's this feeling of drops feel not fun anymore now. So we need to add some additional change. And so we have been discussing with the team a lot about that during one of our internal testing. And we came up with a lot of ideas and discussion. It was a very interesting and fascinating discussion about crafting. This is just, so you're new, yeah. So I was right to say you're new. I didn't want to insult you in case you were just discreet, because sometimes it happens. It's like, oh, I've been testing this game for 3 years, and I'm like, oh, but it's the first time I'm seeing your name. I'm sorry. So. You have much thought on the subject and not enough caffeine. Yeah, that might be a very interesting subject to discuss about if you want to do a separate video about it or a very lengthy post in that thread that I'm going to publish on the forum soon. I think it's very important to share thinking about this so we are sure to have crafting and dropped item both exciting. Does it need to be equally exciting? Maybe not. We could have drop item more exciting than crafting and not be the new crafting MMORPG. That's okay. But the people that are crafters still need to be excited by crafting and find that they're useful. And it's just a filler activity. And I know it's something very important for people. I'm personally not really of a crafter, but I'm very much a gatherer. I really like to pick up flowers. I have to do it. It's hard for me to not see a flower and pick it up. So I have one character I'm playing which has no gathering skills at all, and I'm very frustrated to pass by all those beautiful flowers and I cannot pick them up. So smart bow, yes, you can do plenty of things with every of the things you are gathering. I think that's a little bit different from other game. Is that out of a plant you will be able to do oil that you can use to make potion or to make torch, for example. You can make threads to create weapons like bow. You will need rope for a bow. You can make clothes, and with that clothes you can either make fetching to do arrows and ammo in general, or you can do, of course, armor. with close armor, etc. So you can do plenty of things out of some ingredient, making gathering really exciting. I think gathering in our game right now, it's very exciting. Now the crafting need to be adjusted because before this week, before the change we have implemented this week, when you had crafted item, they were better than anything you could find in the world, making finding items in the world much less exciting. And so it removed one aspect of the game, which is being excited because you find a new piece of equipment while adventuring. So that's the whole discussion is about how to find the right balance so the crafter are happy to be crafter, and it's very exciting to find a new piece of equipment. So yeah, that's a very important discussion to have about the crafting item, the dropped item, not the dropping item, the dropped item, and then how relevant will stay those items. Should we have a bind on equip system? Should they decay in some way, needing crafter to repair them? How to do so you don't have suddenly an overabundance of items that you have found, because you need to realize that maybe the first weeks it's going to be fine, but what about after 1 year of Embers Adrift being released? How to make finding some pieces of armor in Central Vein still exciting? It's also an important aspect. The armor and the loot basically have to disappear in some way, in some fashion. So Shandawerdo is saying, at the moment, crafting without flux is quite a bit worse than dropped stuff. Which is, I think it's a kind of good idea, because then you are excited to find you're excited to find drops, but if you want to prepare yourself for adventuring, like for example before the dungeon, and you want to be nicely prepared, you can craft yourself or purchase crafted gear from another player. And so you have this feeling, okay, I'm ready. And if you have bad luck or if you don't find the equipment you want, well, you're not crying about it either. But it still stay exciting if you find something to replace the crafted equipment you have. I think it's a good compromise between both. So Xin is saying, in order to widen the gap between basic crafts and uncommon drops, there is a huge gap between basic and uncommon drop, but not so much of a gap between uncommon drops and imbued crafts. And then another huge jump, as it should be, from named rare drops. Yeah, that's maybe something that needs to be balanced. That's why we need your feedback. So this can be betterly tuned. You know, if you feel like it is not balanced enough, or there is places where it should be better, always with this intention of having crafting exciting and finding item exciting. And so that you can always replace one another. You're working your ass off by finding imbued by crafting imbued equipment. It needs to be useful for a while, right? So you're happy about that. It feels worthwhile to have done the effort. If you have been working, you know, a whole day trying to find imbued ember flux in the dungeon, etc. Finally, you have your set of armor, but it's replaced immediately. It will not really feel great either. It will not be a nice feeling. Hello, Azure Blaze. Hi, good day to you. Azure Blaze is saying, I think as long as drops are rare enough, it's okay for crafting item to be worth. Otherwise, it should be the same for basic and normal drops. Then there should be rare drops that are better in the world, named mobs, dungeon loot, etc., in my opinion. Yeah, I see what you mean. You will not want to be able to farm a full set of equipment super fast in the world. And then there's another discussion going on And still in the same subject, should the animals drops equipment as well or not? It's another discussion that have been up to this. Someone that felt like, hey, people are going to farm the smugglers the hell out and camp those places because it will be faster to get, so there should be drops on animals as well, equipment on animals, which we don't have at the moment. Animals are dropping regions, and then of course crafting materials and loot that you can sell at the merchant that serve nothing, like a hoof or a horn or a bladder. No one needs a bladder. You can just sell it at the merchant. But what do you think? Is it something that for me, I like that animals serve one purpose and humanoids serve another purpose. I personally really like that. Just for the idea, now I want to hunt because I want crafting material, or I want regent. And now I would like to have some equipment, so I'm doing that. So I have a good reason to do both activities and to go in different places. I like the fact that not everything is giving everything away. But what is your opinion about that? No fan, hello. Gear drops should be unnamed boss only. They are too rare. You cannot have drops on, well, I think so. Because then you will almost never have equipment. And then you will only rely on crafting, but that's maybe what you want. You want people to only rely on crafting. But it's exciting to see a dropped item. I would not like a game, personally, I will not like a game where you only have to rely on crafting. You will feel what you don't have with crafted. Yeah, that's what I see, but I don't like that, personally. Zine is saying, I'm not opposed to relying on crafter. I like games like that. So Alice is saying, it sounds similar to something I've been saying about animals needing to drop more. So currently the fastest way to get some basic gear and make money is farming humanoids. So what would you say if only humanoids are dropping gear, but it will be still quite rare? Not as rare as a named mob, because named mob are very rare. And that need to be the ultimate things. I think that if you only have gear dropped by named boss, that remove the aspect where a named boss is really, really exciting because you will receive something special. You need something in between. You're missing out one step in the progression and the excitement of things. Named boss are really rare. Or at least I find them rare. But maybe the equipment is too common. The basic equipment is too common. Hello Druitis, by the way, I didn't greet you. So Xin is saying, now one thing that could be explored is adding materials to the loot table of humanoid instead of ready to drop gear. Yeah, I've been speaking about that too. It will make good sense that those smugglers operating out of cave and other area with mining node that equivalent mining resource on them, and also close drop. Getting some leather goods from them like stripped explosive too. That's very true. But that was the idea of they don't drop any of their equipment. I still think that will be sad too. Like maybe they need to be more rare. But I like to hunt for equipment and to not have to rely on... Basically, crafted gear, for me, it's not exciting me. If I have to purchase it to another player, I don't really like. If I do it myself, then okay. But if I have to buy it from another player, or if it's offered to me, I don't like it. I have really hard time when someone is very kindly, Elloa, get all my crafted gear, I've crafted that for you. I have hard time to say, well, no, I don't want it, because I prefer to find loot. So I'm accepting it, but I'm a little bit dying inside. But that's just me. It's very personal. So Alice is saying, I think the key is more variety of gear and staggering the crafted dropped gear better. Much too lengthy of an idea for me to put it in Twitch chats. This is what I went on for about 10 minutes. Yeah, but that's why I want to have this thread where we can gather all of our ideas of all those subjects, because they're all intertwining with each other, right? They all speak about the same subject, which is getting excited about equipment. You can just summarize to that, getting excited about equipment. And so that contain crafting, that contain loot tables, and that contain buying of equipment nodes. Yeah, that's true what Drindin is saying. They are humanoids that drop crafting material, woodsman, hunter, and blacksmiths. That's very, very true. So, let's speak now about another subject of discussion where there will be a thread about it on the forum, which is darkness. So right now, and until now, you have seen that, and it is illustrated with the screenshot just over there. Darkness is very dark. It is very, 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 very dark. It is also while we are waiting for a new skybox, which will be implemented as soon as Unity is not messing up anymore. Then we can develop a new skybox and tune the right lighting, as well as the beautiful celestial object that we want to help players to guide themselves. So at the moment, you cannot really take in account what's in game yet, because this is a transition. This is not really what we want. So what we have in game right now, it's not what there will be at the release of the game. But we can start to discuss about what is your opinion about darkness? What do you think about darkness? Is it a feature that you think is interesting? Is it something that you don't like or don't care about? Etc. Our idea was to have darkness not only being aesthetically pleasing, but being a real feature in the game that will force players to get their torch. So you need to be strategic about the torch bearing. To have ground torch, so it's a consumable that makes sense and that is, desire, and that will allow for all different type of gameplay. It's mysterious, it's dark, you need to be attentive, otherwise you will lose your way, etc. So darkness was not supposed to just be, oh yeah, it's the night. It's supposed to serve a purpose. But that being said, it also needs to not strain your eyes physically. A lot of people had problems with their eyes with too much darkness, and it doesn't have to be frustrating, because if it's not fun, if you want to log off because it's the night, then we have failed to provide a good entertainment. So Xin is saying darkness gives light meaning, it has its place. Nice. Sean the Weirdo is saying, navigating via start will be neat unless you are in a cave like... but that's a labyrinth. That place is a maze, and that's just a small dungeon. Haha. What will you say about the big ones? Hello, Mindless. Hi, good day to you. Sean the Weirdo, I end up losing something like 30 I just not could find my body. Oh, that's always frustrating when you don't find your bag in Central Vein. You really need to be careful about be well prepared before, so you release everything you need in your storage. But I guess you had all this ore during your travel in Central Vein. Drindin is saying, you mean amazing? Yeah, that's one. It's only a maze till you learn it. Yeah, that's true for Central Vein, but I'm wondering about the other ones. Because the new dungeon, guys, you will be surprised. I will be surprised because I've never seen them either. But I know what's the plan with them. I'm so excited. I'm so impatient to see them in game. Alice is saying, I will be very, very upset if darkness become easy. It could be improved too, I agree. I think one of the most important things is to not have it strain the eyes. Because this is something I have realized myself, is that it was really killing my eyes. And I know that some people have been speaking about that. It's fun and such, but it's really hard. And if it's physically harming you, that's when it starts to not be good. And it's not just because I need glasses, because I'm 43 years old. All right, that's not just the reason. I think it's very, very dark and it's tiring for the eyes when it's too dark. So there needs to be a nice balance, or having shorter amount of time, or you need to know where you go. But there's plenty of possibility that can happen. Make the usual night a little bit softer, bit nicer. When it's open space, when you're on the path or whatever, it's really comfortable. If you're going inside the woods, then it becomes darker because you're surrounded by trees and you are in the shadow. But you know, you could choose to go in the plain instead, and you can make the choice. No, it's really hurting my eyes too much, so I decide to hunt in the plain and not hunt in the woods. That's a choice you can do, because we offer you the possibility to choose. Or to have the torch, the ground torch, etc., that help you out to alleviate a little bit of the darkness. Or maybe you could have something you put in your belt. A lot of people have been suggesting that at some point, maybe for a lot of very rare crafting ingredient, you could have something at your belt that will serve as a source of light all the time. So that could be a very nice idea as well. Showing where will the cave have maps, so at least we see the tunnels without having to backtrack some. I don't think the plan is for having maps in the dungeon. And if they are, I would imagine that it will be partial maps, or maybe something you will have to find. I don't know exactly. I also think that no one's in the team want to draw the map of the dungeon. It might also be a problem. Well, Drindin confirmed no map for underground. Yeah, it's totally because we don't want to do them. Feel free to make your own. Yeah, there we go. If you want to make the map, do the map. So Druid is training the eyes could be a bit of a problem, true. Yeah, one of the things is that the night is kind of pretty long, or it feels pretty long. It's not long, it's not true that it's long. It's actually, I think it's even shorter than the day. But it's true that it feels sometimes much longer. And some of the very, very new player that just started up the game has been commenting about that. Oh, I've started the game, I just had 45 minutes to put in, and all I've seen was pitch black. So I can understand that it's an annoyance for new player, but I think that could be alleviated first by the new skybox in general, but also you could do it even lighter in the first zone, so the people that arrive there, after all, South New Haven is a little bit more in the south, so it can be a little bit less dark, and so the new players is not being welcomed by pitch black for his first impression of the game, because that can be turning away some people, and we don't want that. Xenin saying, want to buy survivalist profession, focus on setting up camps, good light source in the field, and limited crafting capacity and direction sense. Something that I've been speaking about also that I really would love to have as a consumable is a fire camp. So something that could be crafted or purchased or earned or whatever. and that will serve as a light source, like a grand torch, or maybe even you could, in addition, have the crafting station for cooking meat, just that, or maybe brewing potion too, maybe just for provisioner, and something like, or maybe for every craft, a little bit like you have in New World. Or just as a roleplay item and a light source. But having a little campfire where everyone can sit down around, I think that will be so lovely to have. I would love to have that. It could be very expensive to create, I don't care, but I would love to have a little campfire that you can craft. It is very difficult to make a map when you have no way to orient yourself. No, you will have to be extremely cautious. And every time, like in D&D, every time you advance in the corner, you're drawing it. It will be very boring to do, I agree. I will not enjoy to do it. Maybe some people that are specialists in map will love it, I don't know. Drindin is saying, I know there are several players who will be attempting to map out the underground. Those people are crazy. Drutis is saying, I like the realism too. Oh, nice. No, not against this compass discussion. Come on. We don't discuss that until the new skybox. Hello, Sit Night. Hi, how are you doing? Xin is saying, the central theme of the survivalists still will be the camp. As you level up your camp, improving, allowing to recover battle fatigue and HP faster, providing more light, more access to crafting, and even repairs. No compass, boo, yeah. So the compass discussion, it's not forbidden, but it's heavily suggested to not be talked about until we have the new skybox. Because until we have the new skybox, there will be no compass in the game. After the new skybox has been tested and the feedback of the players received, then we may come back with the compass discussion. But until then, no compass. In any case, that will be all of the discussion we're going to speak about you will find those discussion in the thread on the forum, and your feedback is very much appreciated on those particular case. Try to have your discussion focused and not branch out too much in different direction, because there will be many other discussion topics that will be gathered and proposed to you, and so we can really stay on track on the right subject. So the first thread will be crafting and dropped gear, and the second one will be darkness. So my friend, it is time to speak about the World Breaker event. So how did that went? Was it successful? Did we break the server? Well, the World Breaker event was successful. It was very nice. We had a lot of new players, a lot of new influx of players. Many of those players were convinced by the games they saw, and they even became beta tester. I think we have several cases in the chat right now. So we can say that Embers Adrift World Breaker event was a success. Undone did got a lot of data that you can analyze, but we didn't break the server. So I do think that we will do another World Breaker event and try to get even more people, so we are actually breaking the server. Oh, yeah, Kuros is saying, yep, I became a tester because of the event. Show the weirdo. Yep, almost time to bonk animal with Warhammer. Nice, nice, nice. So that's really great. I'm very happy that so many of you have been had the chance to try the game, to see that it was pleasing, and to then be part of the community and to play with you now. That's really, really, really cool. I'm very happy about that. So I wanted to show you, because I have not published them yet, to show you some of the screenshots of the event. So I can remove my slideshow here. So I have taken a few screenshots. Well, I've taken, I don't know, 20 screenshots. That's a good one. That's the one that looks good. So here it is. The party gathering up along the lake. That was a party organized for the beta tester. So the beta tester were not crowding up the starting area for the new player that never played Embers Adrift. So we had our little cool kid party over here. Light mode, yeah, I'm sorry. There we go. Sometimes I have light mode for some programs. But it was really nice. And that's when Undone spawned some mobs. So that beautiful spider I wanted to show you had been spawned last week. It's one of our boss. A beautiful spider with plenty of baby spiders on top of it. Evil spider burned to the ground. Yeah, that one is evil. And it was very fun. It was like a little red with all the people smashing the spider. And that's our beautiful torch parade. That's very bad for FPS, but very good to testing the server. To see so many people at the same place. Also, it was to illustrate the title of the game, Embers Adrift. Alright? It's very important. And so I really like that one screenshot because you have the little parade here and you can see plenty of people in the distance with their torch. And this illustrates as well while the darkness is an important component of the game. To see this world which is you have the feeling that you're alone, and then in the far distance you see someone with a torch, you see some lights. It is very thematic about the game, and one of the reasons we have named it Embers Adrift. It is one of the explanation. There's many of other interpretation about the name of the game, but that's one of them, and for me that's the one that I was very fond of. It is idea when you are in this very large map and it's very dark and you have the feeling you're alone, but then suddenly you see a little group of players in the distance with their torch, and suddenly the world is alive and you feel, oh, I'm not alone in the dark, there's people out there. And for me that's the explanation of Embers Adrift. Or a set of glowing eyes. Yeah, that too. That doesn't evoke the same feeling, but that too. Exactly, Sean. Ah, that's for the community. Here it is. We have Yana. Hello, Yana. We have Kirus. Hello, Kirus. And we have Inusa. Hello, Inusa. That's fun. And that's just me alone in the beginner area, but I find that the settings were really beautiful with the tower and the people with the little camp and the torch over here, the lantern, the beautiful northern lights. I really hope as well that we will keep the northern lights. I think everyone wants to keep the northern lights. Please, please, Unity, allow us to do it. I love Yana's character, she's so tall. Yeah, she certainly did choose a nice character. But then, besides the screenshot, what I also wanted to show was a little extract. For that I need to do that first. I wanted to show an extract of several streams that has happened. So here, that's the stream of Feldon's Gaming. So I'm going to do a little shout out for Feldon's Gaming because he didn't receive one. He's not here today, but that doesn't matter. He can receive a little shout out. Feldon's Gaming. It's written like that. There it is. So let's have a little extract of his stream. I need to put my headset on so I can listen to what's going on. So that was more the technical tests.
My CPU is down at 50% now.
Mine's at like in the 90s.
If I go near the fire, let's see.
Yeah, that's a discussion on Discord about all of the technical aspects
Near the fire,
of the World Breaker event.
100%. And if I go just a little bit back, it go at 50.
Let's look at all the people gathered here. Isn't that nice?
I'm actually able to move and everything now, so that's pretty good.
I was lagging as well. I was very much lagging. And it's what I really love is to see all of the people we know over here. That's the animals that are being spawned or pulled over. Your sister will love this too. Oh, awesome, Druidis. It will be nice to have you there. All right, let's check the stream of someone else because I wanted to show different streams. So that's the stream from Pant. So Pant is a streamer which is streaming all kind of MMORPGs, also streaming EverQuest. And is streaming Embers Adrift. So let's see what he says.
Right here, Amazon is not going very well on New World. Something about people using too much lumber. Resource balancing must be off or something. What is this? Angry Mob Simulator? That's what it looks like, isn't it? That is what it looks like.
Oh, I remember. That's Peliro in the fire. That's Peliro in the fire.
Going outside. I actually didn't hate New World. Apparently, they have made some good changes for people. Well, I know they've done a couple of content updates too, right? With like,
I'm going
this advertisement for one
a little further.
Cool, but yeah, we're getting a little bit of lag. We're definitely getting a little bit of lag. That's okay though. That's what we want to see.
It has a very, very nice,
Why not just do Guild Wars?
Very nice stream, very nice quality.
Any actually interesting challenge modes or skill interactions. If you want Overland, it still never got anywhere near old school MMOs. Crazy robust crafting. They implemented enough to be super time gating and frustrating, but not enough to feel like its own reward track in its own right. Yeah, I've played it recently. It's still dog shit. I mean, it's just like, this is a perfect example of like to each their own. Because I think that like, I really like Age of Conan, and people think that game is horrible. So, you know, it's like to each their own.
Yeah, that's the parade starting.
How do we walk again? I forgot.
That's so cool. It's nice to see the event through different perspective. So I really like that.
Unforgivable is the right word to use for the security exploits it launched with and their shit handling of the GPO killing bug they knew about a year before launch. Yeah, I didn't know they knew about that a year before launch. That is definitely unforgivable. Yeah, and like the security issues and stuff that were like literally compromising people's like credit card information and stuff like that because of a leak that they had inside their game. Like, holy shit, dude. I'm still playing it and it's
still pretty fun.
Opinions vary. If I were to pick up Embers Adrift now, would I actually be able to explore?
It's a very, very nice guy. It's a really nice streamer. It's very pleasant.
They have several dungeons.
And very much taking care of his community as well.
Smuggler's Den, and it's huge.
It's nice to have him with us. It's really cool.
And some spiders and stuff in there.
Yeah, I know, Jimmy Day.
You can buy into this game by going to embersadrift.com and purchasing the game. That gets you into the closed beta, which is the servers are always open on Wednesday. The Wednesday server launch is actually really cool because the devs are online and stuff, and they're there to like answer questions for people.
Yeah,
and to, like,
listen to this guy.
And play with some of the players. And then the servers are open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays as well.
Yeah, what he says. All right, let's see another little stream. I wanted to check out plenty of streams. So here we have Moorland TV. So that will not be the event, the party itself, but a little bit later. So I'm going to do a shout out for him. And last but not least, keep keep here. You will see. You will see. Morolan TV. It's a little shout out for that streamer. It's also streaming different MMORPG and streaming Embers Adrift. Is very excited about the game. So it's nice to have excited people.
Looking for level 3-4 DPS grind / explore.
Sorry, the sun was a bit high.
When was the last time you saw looking for group to explore? Go somewhere new that hasn't been mapped out already.
Yeah, looking for group to explore. That's our game.
Probably Minecraft. I don't know, dude. Us swimming across that lake was pretty peak exploration.
Isn't there a chest over there? I still think we should go ninja that thing. Get some level 20 gear we can't use.
Its quality of stream is also nice. I really need to have a better
Have my
computer.
favorite
I'm
shirt,
so
guess I
jealous
never
now.
need to replace it. I will always keep my favorite shirt in this game. The fact that we were trying so hard to break into that area, like, forced us to grind at insane fucking warp speed.
Yeah, I hope to keep up with respawn.
Yeah, but that can only happen in SAS New Haven, shown the weirdo.
Alright, you in?
Yeah,
Are you still
I'm
patching?
getting my login stuff now.
Okay.
And last but not least, let's see. Oh, who's that? Who's that streamer?
Right click or just click on them and it should
But-
start auto attacking if you're close enough.
I know this
Like I
face.
said, combat's pretty slow in this. But if you want to run up the road,
I've choose this moment because you have Yana and you have Nolji over here, which are two of my friends. And so you have Yana here, Nolji over there.
This pig is fucking me up, bro.
Super fun.
Okay, so enemies have different strengths. How many little chevrons does that guy have by his name?
So friends,
And what color are they?
if you want to check out Shone the Weirdo,
Okay, so white. So white means
he has started recently to stream Embers Adrift,
two means
and I had a lot of fun
two.
to play with him on Sunday.
Right, fucking up. Right here, the crafting station's right here, Tabitha.
Yeah, I love that. I love to see friends hanging out at the fire.
So if you want me to make you some cloth stuff,
Let me find my way to
Inisa is saying, funny, I'm already strongly attracted by this game despite having
I will need
1,800 games and despite it not having a big budget, maybe because that's the only new all-scrolled MMORPG. Yeah, and because it's a very cool game too.
Evidently, when I died, I lost everything.
But
backpack.
I think the one thing that I find us successful at doing, at least, there's plenty of things to improve and plenty of things to discuss about and tweak for sure. But the social aspects, the group component aspect of the game, the community feel of the game
Ground over there.
is working.
Yes, I do.
And that was the aspect the most, how can I say, difficult to set up because it's very, how do you create that, you know? It's not something you just apply a formula and it works. It's something a little bit magical. And I think that's successfully done. And so that's really exciting to see all the people that really enjoy the game and really like the experience that we are offering is fantastic to see because
What color are these for you, Tabitha?
it was not guaranteed that we will succeed to do it. There we are.
Oh, yeah, but I'm still level 1. You're 4.
Right. Just
And we're going to finish this little discussion today by someone that has created Cypher Vision on Twitter little video, and I really recommend you to check them because they are pretty fun. It's on Twitter, it's not on YouTube, it's not on TikTok, it's not on Twitch, and they are very short. It's short little episode and they're super fun. Oh, that's what it is. Popcorn machine. Of course, it's for Twitter, so the quality is less good than a YouTube video. But I find his editing to be quite funny. And making short little episode of his adventure as he discovers the game. It's really nice. And it's the first person to create content like that about our game. Yeah, I know. And so I really enjoy that. And I think everyone in the team have been enjoying to see those little videos. And so it's Laszlo in game. So if you meet him in game now, Laszlo, you know who it is. I've seen him around a lot and speaking in the chat a lot. And so now if you want to be featured on Twitter, you know what to do. Thank you, Twitter. Now the quality is better. That take a while. Who we have here? It discovered an ember ring. His map is updated now. So the Talag guy is leading him, so Laszlo is a new player. And there we go. That's the first episode, and so you can here have a link towards his tweets. Wait, why are they helping them? They should call them noobs and say get good. Yeah, he's also making some about Elder Scrolls Online, by the way. I think I've been streaming and recording way too long. So I will need to pretend that I'm stopping the stream for YouTube. Okay, how long has been my recording? Yeah, 3 hours of recording. That's way too long. I will have to edit all of that in 1 hour. So this will be very challenging to edit this weekend. Okay, so do not mind me. I'm not stopping the stream, but I'm stopping the recording for YouTube. So I'm going to do or you know what? I'm going to do it afterwards. By the way, do you hear my boyfriend speaking in the background? Just by curiosity. Yeah, there we go. Kaolin is in game. Janadu is in game. Mr. DDDT and Stuffix is in game. Come on, Sean. You're late. There we go. Here's barely. I'm going to keep those jokes, you know? That's going on YouTube. Thank you everyone for watching this episode of Embers Adrift weekly community show that you can see live on Twitch TV on my personal channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Central Europe time, which is 9 a.m. CDT. hosting time. I will be very happy to see you. If you have any suggestion about subject you would like to see covered, if you have any question regarding the game, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself, take care of your loved one, and see you soon. Bye!